Good afternoon and happy game day, folks. Welcome to Countdown to Kickoff. Today we're talking FAMU against Arkansas Pine-Bluff. So I was battling a little bit of a cold, a little bit after getting back from Tallahassee, and you could hear it obvious as day, Tuesday on the Rattler Roundup podcast, and even Wednesday on the Run and Gun podcast as well. So one quick thing before we do get jumping into everything and stuff like that. I do want to say I'm thankful for, a lot of you guys as viewers, a lot of those, especially the trolls, because they contribute. So thank you to you as well, the trolls out there. But also to, I will say, also I appreciate, everyone that we've met, especially this season and along the way. So, all the fans that we met out at, the FAMU USF basketball game, all of those that we met, whether it be the FAMU North Carolina Central game, the homecoming, or even, the Jackson State game last weekend and everything in between. So, appreciate meeting all of you. This has been so much fun. I just say that to say, this page is doing much, much better than it was in years past. And we are coming up on 10 years next year as a page and as a channel. So I do want to say, we're only getting better. There's no stopping, especially with the opportunity that has afforded itself for us. It's only going to get better. So I will say, y'all stay tuned and everything, and the best is yet to come from me, Ace, the Bug, Flash, Chad. Hopefully next year we can be at SWAC Media Day. But yeah, so with that, also too, shout out to Mr. Campbell too. Had a chance to meet him. That was awesome meeting him and chopping it up with him. We'll have to get him on here too as a guest, maybe on a Tuesday night as well. So yeah, but all right, enough of the soapbox. All right. So today, yes, FAMU Arkansas Pine-Bluff. FAMU comes in off of an embarrassing loss. Yes, changes are coming. This is a poorly coached football team, if I do say so myself. So yeah, we're going to talk about that. Unfortunately, yes, we are going to talk about what did Coach Colsey have to say to the media. Yes, sir, man. Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. That's love, man. For real. But yeah, yes, we do have to talk about what Coach Colsey said to the media. Unfortunately, I know some of you don't want to hear it because it sounds repetitive and it does sound very deflating. Obviously, seeing him too at the 220 QB club meeting, he looked deflated and absolutely just destroyed. And I think he knows he's a dead man walking. We're also going to talk about, what did Coach Alonzo Hampton have to say to the media as well as that, and also a couple of facts about today's game, players to watch, your thoughts, as well to score prediction coming up as well. So before we do roll this intro, let's go ahead and look at a few scores in a couple of games from around the country that we're looking at this weekend. So right now, coming out of the half, actually, they're driving, ironically enough. Georgia up 24-7 on Mississippi State, actually in the third quarter. Texas Tech up 13-0 on BYU. And then obviously the game that we're all here and concerned about and looking forward to, FAMU and Arkansas Pine-Bluff at 3. We've also got Texas A&M and Missouri at 3 p.m., Iowa versus Oregon at 3:30 p.m. That's a huge one. FCS action, got Southeast Louisiana versus Lamar at 7, Auburn versus Vanderbilt at 7:30, as well as everything else is at 7:30 too. Florida State Clemson 7:30 in Death Valley, Navy at Notre Dame at 7:30 p.m. and then LSU at Alabama at 7:30 p.m. and those are your games for this weekend. So with that being said, of course, be sure you leave a comment. See everybody pouring in as well already. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe to this channel. We are continuously growing. Love what we're doing. We appreciate all of you. And like I said, the best is yet to come. Even those of you that may not like us, we're not going anywhere. So y'all keep on tuning in and just giving your input. I'm sure it'll matter somewhere at some point, even though it really won't matter for those of you that continue to troll us. But with that being said, the intro's next. Don't go anywhere. Kick back, relax. We're going to try to make this feel a little bit better today. But let's go. What's going on, Shako? What's going on, man? Again, no, I love your videos, dude. The videos you put up of March 100 and stuff, man. Appreciate what you do as well. All right. So, again, we're here for another week. Let's talk about it. Oh, it's actually 31-7. Jeez Louise. Georgia is killing them right now. But yeah, we're back here for another week of Countdown to Kickoff. So, let's go ahead and get into it. So, last week, as we all saw, FAMU fell to Jackson State in an embarrassing 16-41 game in Bragg, which I feel like that it's over. It's over. There's no way you keep this man for another season, dude. I don't understand how you can. There's absolutely no way. And then for Arkansas Pine-Bluff, last week they won 40-21 against Southern, and I got to say Southern that's a bad football team, man. Horrible. That's all we can do, man. That's all we can do. I use it as jet fuel. I absolutely do. If truthfully speaking, I'm the nicer one of the two out of me and Ace. So I think I'm like, look, let me see it before Ace sees it, because if Ace sees it, he might have a lot of venom for him. So, all right, but yeah, so let's go ahead and dive into it. So for today, Arkansas Pine-Bluff coming in, they entered today all but eliminated. Yes, this is true too. This is very true. And I'm going to pull up the schedule too here in a few to kind of just like point it out. But yeah, so for Arkansas Pine-Bluff, they entered today all but eliminated in conference play. They are averaging 20.6 points per game according to ESPN. They are the least penalized team in the SWAC. They do have the SWAC's fourth leading passer, while FAMU has the SWAC's third leading passer, which is crazy to believe. It's wild. But also, too, 3 different running backs scored touchdowns against Southern. They held Southern to 74 yards rushing. They stuffed Trey Holly at the goal line, which, if you think about it, you look at it today, if your FAMU's rushing attack, hopefully you saw this film. And hopefully you know what Arkansas Pine-Bluff can do, especially on the defensive end. So you're going to be tested mano-a-mano offensive. For your offense, you're going to be tested in the run game. Also, too, one thing I did see, because I went back and not only looked at the Southern game, I went back and looked at their game against Bethune. And one thing I did see is, they will overload the left side and try to, or whichever side's favorable for them, and they will try to come and block a punt. As well, too, one thing I noticed when they played Bethune was they struggled against Bethune when it came to tackling an open space. So when I saw that, I said, oh, well, there's an advantage for FAMU if they can get the ball to their playmakers out in space through the air, and if they can catch it, then you have a chance to, shake free, find that one-on-one mismatch, get an extra 20 yards or go score. But again, we have to catch these passes when they're thrown, and when the opportunity presents itself, you have to take advantage of it, because it may be there 1 minute, but that's no guarantee that it's going to be there the next. As well, too, they had horrible coverage on special teams. Bethune was successful also at blitzing off the quarterback's blind side, which is something I think Colsey, hopefully him and Kenwick Thompson decide to do today. Seems like every week I come on here and I'm saying, hopefully Colsey does this. Hopefully him and Kenwick Thompson do that. And it's getting really repetitive and very tiring to say that. But it's okay. So, like, he won't be here next year. I'm 95% confident of that. Oh, yeah, that's the other thing we talk about, too. The fact there's no buyout in his contract. Also, too, Pine-Bluff did dominate the time of possession against Southern, 35-16 to 24-44. And again, that's 35 minutes and 16 seconds to 24 minutes and 44 seconds. They were also 7 of 15 on third down, 8 penalties for 60 yards in that game. And to kind of point out the obvious, and when I read the penalty differential here, when I read it for the Arkansas Pine-Bluff game versus the FAMU Jackson State game, you're going to just be like, wow. So, yeah, Pine-Bluff had 8 penalties for 60 yards, 140-21 against Southern, whom Southern had 14 penalties for 121 yards. Bad football teams find ways to lose football games convincingly. Southern's a very bad football team. And that's not a sexy job right now that someone wants to go take. At least in my opinion. Whereas now, for FAMU, again, last week, lost that horrible game to Jackson State, 16-41. FAMU had 7 penalties for 58 yards in that game. Jackson State had 10 penalties for 135. So even committing less mistakes, FAMU still lost that game. Think about it again. Southern had 14 penalties for 121 yards, lost the football game, bad football team. Jackson State had 10 penalties for 135 yards against FAMU, won the football game convincingly going away. That's the difference between a good football team and a bad football team. At least FAMU was disciplined, but still, imagine if we weren't disciplined. That points to the fact that we do have kids with character on this team, and that's the one bright spot you can point to. I do think one of the best players on this team is the kicker, Daniel Porto. Not to mention also, too, a couple other things. FAMU has been all but eliminated from the SWAC East race unless something absolutely crazy happens. And, I guess I quote John McKay when I say this. A couple of plane crashes were back in it, but that's very doubtful as well, too. RJ Johnson in this offense took a big step back. RJ still has not turned the ball over. The rushing attack was non-existent. RJ was the lead rusher last week. Only 70 yards total on the ground from this offense, which is pitiful. The wide receiver room looked atrocious. Very bad. Defense was atrocious against the run. You had no sacks. You gave up 392 yards. They had 7 yards per carry as a rushing attack last week. That's essentially, you might as well go ahead. You're falling forward for a first down every time. 7 yards per carry is that's close to a video game. That's embarrassing. Also, the defense has forced turnovers in only 4 games this year, and in those 4 games, FAMU only won 1 of those games. It's pitiful. It's just pitiful. On the bright side, Daniel Porto continues to be the lone bright spot. He's been excellent kicking field goals this year, also kicking 3-point attempts. But yeah, 1 of 11 on third down too. That was FAMU's third down differential last week. Horrible. You can't win like that. You can't. Why did the comment pop up at the top? Interesting. Let's see. Chances of winning are slim if you can't score. Oh yeah, facts. You have to score to win. And I don't know where this whole thing of wanting to win games with just scoring 10 points and hoping to hold on and play good defense comes from, that Colsey wants to do. But that doesn't work that probably worked back in the 50s, in the 40s, when you just ran the ball, wing tee, run it up the gut, get a seal, and run it up in the alley. But that doesn't work. That doesn't work today. I've been saying it for the last 2 years. FAMU needs to build an offense that is capable of scoring 40 points per game. And a team that can get off the bus with ease, and you already know you're going to get 31 points. We need a team that can average 41 points on offense. And a defense that only gives up, truly, at the most, 21. 17. So I don't know where this whole get us 10 and we'll win attitude comes from. That doesn't work in today's football. Maybe in high school, but it doesn't work in college. It doesn't work in pro football. Today, FAMU fans will find out how bad this team wants it. Very little, but pride to play for. Oh yeah, no, and I fully agree with that, because that's one thing that you can look forward to today. You're eliminated from conference play. You have nothing left to play for. There's not going to be many people, because Pine-Bluff does not, no offense to them, they don't have the fan base that, that a Southern has, that a Jackson State has, that a FAMU has, that a Grambling has, like, and Alabama State has. Like, they don't have that. So you're going into a stadium today that's probably going to be empty or not that full. Yeah, there'll be a couple fans there, but it won't be like packed from, head to toe. So now you got to find a way to bring your own juice. Now you got to find a way to, overcome that odd of, you're going out for warmups. There's nobody in there. You're going to be bored. Find your own juice. Plus, yes, you're playing for pride. So you got to go play Alabama A&M next week. And then you got a big one the week after that in Orlando. And then you're going to have to go to basically bumfuck nowhere, Mississippi, and go play Mississippi Valley on Thanksgiving. And nobody's going to be there except maybe a couple of Cowboys and a mule and a couple of Coyotes. That's it. So we'll see. Yeah, we're going to definitely see what they're made of today. But before I do roll that, I do want to say I'm going to play something from that Nick Saban said a while ago, and I think it speaks a testament to not only, this team, but also it's going to speak a testament to what the next head coach is going to be walking into. So let's go in here.
Work with other people, and you can never have any team chemistry for this reason. Mediocre people don't like high achievers, and high achievers don't like mediocre people. So if everybody doesn't buy into the same principles and values of the organization and the same high standard, you're never going to be successful. Just like our spring practice right now. You know what my goal with spring practice is? Get the right guys on the bus, get them in the right seats, and get the wrong guys off the bus. So one of these days, you're going to be working in an organization, and somebody's going to try to do that to you. So which one of those people do you want to be? Do you want to be somebody that's trying to get off the bus because you're satisfied with mediocre performance? Because you can never have any team chemistry in your organization if everybody's not committed to the same standard and the same things. When I worked for Bill Belichick.
And he's telling the truth, And that's good. Again, that's going to be the job of the next head coach when they come in here. Get the right people on the bus, get the wrong people off. Mediocre people don't like high achievers. High achievers don't like mediocre people. We need, yes. And that is something that we need to find out. Who are the high achievers? Who is going to, play for the name on the front of the jersey, not the name on the back? Who really wants to be here? Because truth be told, really, this is actually the beautiful thing about why there was no post-game recap after the Jackson State game, because I was about to come on here and just cuss up a storm and just say, you know what, maybe we need to, instead of having summer workouts, this team probably needs to just spend the entire summer just training with U.S. Navy SEALs, and then we'll see who really wants to play football. Because, when you train with the Navy SEALs, if you ring that bell, they give you a home-cooked meal and they send you home. But, again, I had to stop and come back to earth, calm down, and let my emotions kind of resonate a little bit. So, but yeah, no, Coach Saban's 100% right, though. And again, that's going to be the job of the next head coach. Finding the guys who want to be high achievers, guys who believe that this program can win, guys that want to be here. And the good thing is, FAMU did get 2 commits. FAMU got a quarterback out of Jacksonville Reigns, and then they got another kid that was, I think he's 6'6", 303 pounds, plays offensive line. So you have somewhere to start right now. You have a foundation to build off of. And I think both those guys are locked in, whether Colsey's there or not. So that's the beautiful thing about that. Shouldn't be tired because they flew in yesterday, so really no excuses, no explanations. Yes, exactly. Both these teams have the same records. So there's no excuse. There's no excuse at all. And this is a game that I think that they should win, because going back to the schedule here, And you can go ahead and wipe off December 6th, wipe off December 13th. Like this season, and put Valley, you're going to play them the week after the Classic. We already know. I look at the end of this stretch and I say to myself, you should go 3-1 between today all the way to Thanksgiving weekend. You should beat Pine Bluff today. You should beat Alabama A&M. Bethune, I don't know. It depends how they come out. If they come out motivated and ready to play and they play 10 times above their ceiling, then yes. But if they come out the way that they've come out against NC Central, Alabama State, and against Jackson State, I doubt that they win that game. And I think that that's where you cut the cord. You don't even let Colsey go to eat a beaner. But I do think that they should beat Pine Bluff, Alabama A&M, and Mississippi Valley. What's going on, little baby 245? Hope your day's off to a great start. But let's see here. Also, too, so what did Coach Colsey and Coach Hampton have to say to the media? Let's see. Ooh, it's Mr. Campbell. Yes. I agree. I fully agree. That goes back to, what I was telling B-Dot Tuesday night. You got to get – I think FAMU needs a guy that is a FAMU guy, like what a lot of these other schools have gone out and done. You need a guy that knows what it means to, wear the colors, that knows what it means to be in that locker room, go through, the struggles that, you go through in HBCU, go through, day-to-day life at FAMU, and again, I mean, I get it. I'm one of the people that, bang the drum for Quinn Gray. I'm one of those people. And I say that because he's that guy that is through and through FAMU. He's a FAMU guy. He knows what it takes. He knows what talent is out here in the state of Florida. And like I told B-Dot and like I told Bishop, yeah, and this is no slight at Albany State. That's a good football program. They'll find somebody else if he were to leave. You're not going to recruit a kid from West Palm Beach, Miami-Dade, Broward to go to Albany State in bundle like you would at FAMU. I'm sorry, it's just the truth. So I do think that, him coming to FAMU would be the right move. I like Teddy, but I do feel like Teddy's just a little – oh, whoops. Oh, well, there we go. Hold on, I'm going to bring this one back. I like Teddy, but I do feel like Teddy's just a little too young. I do. I love him as a coordinator, but then I think to myself too, like Ace said Wednesday night, if you would Teddy come back to be a coordinator? Would Teddy leave his backup QB job and that money in the NFL to just be a coordinator at an HBCU? Who knows? Let's see, if we don't beat Alabama A&M, are we in a dogfight with that? 100%. I'm in the group of, I think whether you win the Classic or not, I think you just part ways. I've been digging through winging coaches in Ohio because our track record has been really good with them. Okay. Interesting. I mean, I think Rudy Hubbard played at Ohio State for Woody Hayes. Jake Gaither I think he was from Tennessee, if I'm not mistaken. Someone correct me if I'm wrong on that. Trying to think. I mean, Willie was from Quincy. So, I mean, I'm trying to think. I mean, maybe I'm missing something there. But Ohio, interesting. I haven't played a complete half of football season. They haven't. They truly haven't. And we're still waiting. Although I'm not a fan of the portal. Could use it to get the right South Florida Yeah, yeah. No, I agree. I mean, I do think that we've seen now the portal it's good, but I mean, much like again with Florida State, you've seen teams that dig too deep into the portal don't have success. And I do think that you got to recruit high school. You have to. And again, in a talent rich state like Florida, I mean, here I live in Hillsborough County. There's too much talent around this state to just not even acknowledge it and just go portal heavy. It's crazy. I don't get how you could ignore it. The high school kids are the ones that are hungry to be in here. It's hard to think we will improve next year. Oh, no, you won't. You won't. You've already seen a massive regression from this football team. This football team was 7-5 last season and just still was barely holding on. This roster was supposed to have been said to be improved. I don't see how. I mean, I think that FAMU has the personnel in some spaces. Again, I'd like to see some of these players under a new regime, but I don't see how you can go to into next year thinking you're going to win a SWAC title. You're not with Colsey. Maybe with somebody else, but not with Colsey. I went through the games. Bingo. Because again, slowly, steadily getting worse. Slowly. Live in Tampa too. Yeah, no, dude. Funny thing about it, I try to go to at least one game a week every Friday around the area. I try to go like the biggest games. So like I'll go see Tampa Bay Tech. I'll go see Armwood. I won't go see Jesuit because they're the rival. They're a rival to my high school. I just don't. But I don't think that the kid at Jesuit's as good as Tebow. Personally, I've heard that from people up in Georgia. But nevertheless, like there's a lot of talent in this area. Like, why are we not recruiting this area? I told Ryan Stanley about a few weeks ago, or homecoming week, the quarterback at Armwood High School here, he reminds me of Ryan. I don't even know if we even tried to recruit him, but that kid's committed to USF. Even if you would have tried to have even gotten that kid on campus, like you have a chance now to, if he enters the portal and leaves USF, you have a chance now to recruit him to your school. Because the kid can throw. He can run, he can block, he can tackle. Like, I did actually. I did. And the thing is that rivalry doesn't, once you get out of high school, that rivalry really doesn't mean a whole lot. Like, I'll be real with you. If a kid from Jesuit got recruited by FAMU and he's absolutely balling and he can make a difference, I'd say, you know what, go get the kid. Because that kid's academically going to be around. You don't have to worry about that kid. But, even if TC were to get better, truthfully speaking, I feel like I wouldn't be mad if TC hired Teddy Bridgewater, but that's just my own fantasy. I recall during early losses, coach seemed to question out loud whether he got the right guys from the portal. Yeah, he did. And I don't think that he's a good evaluator of talent out of the portal or out of high school ball. I don't think that he is. I'm sorry. I just don't. Let's see. All right, now, so what did Coach Colsey have to say to the media Monday? So he said, God. He said, I thought we did some things well in the first half. Yeah, okay. He said we had a lot of third and longs that set us back. Yeah, you sure did. You were 1 of 11. We didn't take advantage of them traveling from Vegas and coming to us, which never mind. You know what? No, you didn't take advantage of them traveling and having jet lag. Jeez. No, I see what, and I'm listening to this when he said this, and I'm just like, geez, I see why he pisses some people off. Teams are going to do what you haven't been able to stop. Yeah, I'm glad you know, because I hope you know Alonzo Hampton's going to pound the rock today. Their QBs can run and throw well. In terms of Arkansas Pine-Bluff, running backs run well also. We try to build week by week. We're trying to win and get back on track. If we can't get better every day, then we can build to the future. I hope he knows the future doesn't include him. We need to be more consistent in our run fits. That I agree with. Okay, he says that's truthful. Let's see. D line has to trust the linebackers. Linebackers got to trust the DBs. Okay, so that statement there, them two statements, that made sense. Let's see. He also said it's good. It's good that RJ takes care of the ball, but we got to give our guys a chance outside. For us to have success, we need continued execution at the QB spot. Wow. Jeez, is he finally admitting that RJ may not be the fit for this offense? Whoa. Travel wasn't the issue. Exactly. I'm like, look, I don't care how far they came. I don't care if they came from Europe. I don't care if they flew in from Asia. You still got to adjust and be ready to play a football game. And if you're not ready, they're going to bust you in the mouth, which is exactly what they did. Because for weeks it was talked about their secondary was the weakness. They didn't even try to take advantage of it. And I think that he also knows like his quarterback's playing too safe with the football, because that's why you're not getting the success that you truly want out of that position. Yeah, no, and that's facts too. That is absolutely facts. And I don't feel like he wants it enough. I do not feel like he wants it enough. And that's why I think when one goes, he's going to go too. I don't think he's the starter in 2026. Oh, he admitted 2020. RJ doesn't know the playbook. Yeah, see, it is November 8th, 2025, and your quarterback does not know the playbook. You had a whole entire offseason to know the playbook, to sit down with your OC, your quarterback coach, your head coach, and learn the playbook. Because what RJ got there in June, July, from the moment he stepped on campus to now, he had all this time to learn the playbook, learn the tendencies of his wide receivers, and you don't know the playbook. No, it's November 8th. I'm telling you, man, I'm going to continue to support this team, but I'm telling you now, things ain't going to get better until you get rid of Colsey, until you get rid of RJ. That's horrible. What were you doing from July all the way through, or really June, mid-June, all the way through fall camp, leading up to the Orange Blossom Classic? What was he doing? That comes from not being invested as in individually buying in. That's what that comes from. What happened? % better. Yeah. I will do you one better. What happened to stressing, discipline, details, emphasis on little things and stuff? Because right now, this whole season, I have not seen that. We don't look like a mentally strong football team. We don't. I'll go back to saying under Willie, those wide receivers, the emphasis on, making the hard catches, the emphasis on finishing every little bit, every play, like all of that, doing the extra 1%. I used to see that. We always looked like the mentally stronger team versus a lot of these other teams. This year, we look like we aren't even mentally tough. We don't. We can't even catch simple comeback routes. And again, that goes back to what Coach Saban said. Get the right people on the bus, get the wrong people off. Young has had unlimited QB play in year two of his contract, all because he doesn't get turnovers. Yeah. Yep. All right. So what did Coach Alonzo Hampton have to say? Well, I'll tell you one thing. He mentioned about 3 times in that entire presser on Monday that he wanted to run the football well. So, Coach Hampton said in terms of his game last week against Southern, he said we played well in all 3 phases. He also said in this league and every other league, you have to be able to run the football. It's one time he mentioned it. So he also said we got to do what we do best and be more balanced, and that helps the offense and defense. Also, like I stated too, someone also mentioned, this team is also the 4th fewest in sacks in the SWAC, with 11 allowed in 9 games. So, FAMU. He also stated FAMU's very athletic, good QB. Oh God, a lot doesn't care who tells it. Good wide receivers, good running backs. He said their record is a testament to how tough this league is. Geez, Coach Hampton's just being nice when he says these things. He also said, too, in our last 3 games, we've been able to run the ball. It's twice now. He also stated, special teams-wise, we can't give up a big play. At least someone gets it. He also stated, too, we have talented guys, but they aren't seasoned yet. He said, and we have to do what's best for us to keep us in games the longest. He also said we have to tackle and catch the football. So, yeah, you could tell right then and there from everything that he just said, at least twice he mentioned running the football effectively. Oh, no, that's right. He also gave kudos to his offensive line. So, yeah, the emphasis for them is going to be run the football today. Let's see. Our receivers used to hand the ball to the ref. Yeah, this is true. They used to. I don't know what we're doing now. Again, I think this team can win today, but I can't. I don't think that this is gonna last for another season. There's no way. You can't keep doing this again next year. We've regressed so much. Also, so players to watch today for Arkansas Pine-Bluff: quarterback Christian Peters, who was 21 of 32, 231 yards, 2 TDs, 1 interception last week. Running back Jalen Jennings, 25 carries, 99 yards, 1 TD. Wide receiver Ellis Stewart, who had a heck of a one-handed catch actually last week too against Southern. 4 receptions, 83 yards, 2 TDs. Wide receiver Davery Johnson, 6 receptions, 75 yards. And then Kareem Burke, 8 receptions, 54 yards. And he already stated it on social media. He's excited to play this game against his former team. He said he's got this thing highlighted and circled. He said he can't wait. And then also, too, Denarius Hilliard, who is a linebacker for Arkansas Pine-Bluff. He leads the team with 58 total tackles on the season and leads the team with 2.5 sacks on the season as well. Those are your players to watch for Arkansas Pine-Bluff. For FAMU, R.J. Johnson, 16 of 29 last week, 132 yards, 2 TDs. Jamal Haley, 6 carries. This is actually crazy how bad the run game was last week. 6 carries, 15 yards. And RJ was the leading rusher. Also, wide receiver Kanari Wilcher, who was one of your lead receivers. 3 receptions, 32 yards last week. Miles Campbell, 1 reception, 20 yards, 1 TD. And then Cam Donald has 9 total tackles in that game last week. I think he honestly might have played the best of anybody on defense. He was getting double teamed. He did the best he could, I will say. I hate that he won't be back next season because he's also somebody else I would love to see under a new regime. But I do hate that he's moving on. And then also, too, another player to watch, and probably the best player to watch today, Daniel Portomatic. 1 for 1 in field goals last week, 1 for 1 in extra point attempts last week. He is the lone bright spot. I like it. All right. Let's see. So now for questions. So, how motivated is Kareem Burke to play this game? again, as I mentioned, he's got this game highlighted and circled. Plus, you're going up against your old team and stuff. Like I think if Willie had still been there, I think he would still be at FAMU. But you know, Colsey came in, he got up out of there. So I do feel like, yeah, he's motivated to prove a point. He's motivated to show this coaching staff today that, you know what, I'm better than all your wide receivers. And they're going to probably look to get him the ball multiple times today if they do throw it. Now, they're probably going to get him involved on jet sweeps. They're probably going to put him in the slot. They're probably going to do everything Jackson State did with Nate Renberg. Also, how early and often do you turn to your rushing attack? If I'm Arkansas Pine-Bluff, I would turn to them early and often right out the gate. The minute you come out on the field, your first series, I would test FAMU interior. I would test the interior and just pound the rock. The other one too, again, this goes back to the Bethune-Cookman game, having trouble, with Bethune-Cookman in space. Will they be able to contain FAMU's wide receivers in open space? That's a question that needs answering. So we're going to see, just how talented this FAMU wide receiving core really is. Backs against the wall, you have nothing to fight for. And we're going to see what happens when you get an open space against these defenders. How do they limit the rushing attack from finding rhythm? Quite honestly, I do think that, again, this defense is not as good as Jackson State's defense. You should be able to find a way to get Jamal Haley, Thad Franklin, Bo Somerset going. You should. If you don't, that spells trouble, because now you're going to have to win this game with RJ's arm. And you don't want to do that. How do they create turnovers against RJ? No one's been able to do it this year. Honestly, I think you got to bait him. I think that's the only way you could do it. If you could bait RJ, do so. So long shot. You're asking safety to do something Ed Reed would do, but shadow and favor one side of the field and then roll back across the field and create an interception. Do something like what Ed Reed used to do back in the day, which again, that's a long shot. Safeties at this level ain't doing stuff like that. So again, maybe they may get lucky. He may throw him one. We'll see. I hope he doesn't. I hope he can stay clean. I'd actually like to see this because I don't think there's ever been a quarterback that has ever gone a full season without throwing an interception. So let's see. So keys to winning: lock in, full focus and effort, 60 minutes, minimize, eliminate mental errors, play like you care, play like a real rap. Yeah, I agree. I 100% agree. Play like you care, because it's not only the fact that you're playing for pride. You're playing because that's what a real rattler does, but you're also playing because of the fact that most of y'all may not be here next year. You're playing for your next stop, because some of these guys are going to get in the portal. When this coaching staff is gone, some of these guys are going to get in the portal. Some of these guys are going to move on to new schools, and these new schools are going to look at this highlight tape as well as look at other things like grades. They're like, how do you play when you're losing versus how do you play when everything's going right and you're winning? So it's going to be a factor of a whole lot of things. And also, same thing with a lot of these coaches. Some of these coaches, they know they're probably not going to be here next year. So you're coaching for your next gig. Or you're coaching to maybe try to impress the next staff that comes in and hope to God that they retain you, although that's probably not likely. Yep. That's what I would do too. I'd try to wear FAMU's defense down. Make them chase you. Keep them off balance. All right, so a couple questions for FAMU now. So how does FAMU find a way? Honestly, goes back to what V and Matt said. Lock in, full focus. Play like you really care. Play like a real rattler. My thing is just be consistently consistent. Find something that works. Also, too, is there a weakness on defense that they can exploit? If I'm FAMU, I'm going to try my best to get this game out. Get this game spread out. Get the ball out to your wide receivers in open space. Find mismatches, and hopefully the wide receivers catch these passes. Also, too, what is there left to fight for? Like V and Matt mentioned, and like I just mentioned, you're playing for pride. You're playing for pride. You're playing to put good film up because there's going to be guys again that are going to be trying to play to impress this next regime that comes in. There's guys that are going to be playing to, get in the portal. Coaches that are going to be coaching for their next gigs. It's a lot of things that are going into play now. You can't just because you're out of the conference race, you can't just be like, oh well, so always me. What do we do now? On to next year. No, you've still got something to fight for. There needs to still be effort. Because I can guarantee you there's somebody watching at least one player out there on that field for the next stop. Somebody's watching them. Not sure who. Maybe might be a JUCO, might be a Division III team, might be a Division II team, might be an FBS team looking for depth. Somebody's watching somebody. Let's see. Also, let's see. How does this team maintain focus? Honestly, again, you got 4 games left. You still, which is crazy to say, you still have the capability of finishing 7-5. Just keep plugging. You have to just maintain. Let's see. 5 or 5. So should get rid of Colsey before the season is up, or wait till. Honestly, I think, me personally, here's how I would go about it. I would say after the Florida Classic, you do it, but I'll add in a stipulation. I think if he wins the Classic, you hold off for a week. Let him coach that game in Valley. After the Valley game, that Monday, then you cut the cord. 7-5 or not, got to move on. We cannot stomach this for another season. If you do, this team will go 7-5 again or worse. Yes. Yeah. And I can understand also not giving the interim not giving the assistant head coach the interim title, because then you get sucked into a situation where, much like the Raiders under Antonio Pierce, the interim comes in, does a good job, kind of makes everybody go, whoa, hold on a second. They responded well to this guy. Maybe we need to give him a shot and hire him. Or you get a situation where you had, like here in Tampa, where Lovie Smith got fired, and then everybody looked at Dirk Cutter and said, oh, well, he's good for Jameis Winston's growth. We need to just go ahead and promote from within, and then we can go from there. So in both those situations, it's like you don't want to really do that, because, again, I can see where it can get messy and kind of cause some people to go, oh, maybe we should just go with that guy. So I do think you give them to the end of the year, you wipe it off, you start over, you start brand new, go get the guy you want, have your short list out now, but then also to see who else is out there, look under every crevice, every corner, and see who's available. Final score against UAPB, your best guess. Oh, I got that for you in a few. Exactly. Plus, let's have some humanity for hands. Yeah, no, exactly. I mean, again, like, we say what you want about Colsey. Like, he was the coach for that 2023 team. He did coach. He was an assistant on that staff, so he did come in. He contributed to a championship team, like, you do got to have some humanity. You do. So, again, you give them to the end. You don't. Yeah, exactly. And it's a very sore eye to really, kind of do it prematurely, like how they did Earl Holmes the week of homecoming. Like I felt like that could have at least waited till the end, because from what I remember, at least, I remember when Earl Holmes got fired, there were people that said, why not just promote Corey Fuller? Why not just name him the head coach? And looking back on it, that would have been better than giving Alex Wood the job, personally. Yeah, exactly. And that's you don't want to end up like that situation. Because that right there, that I don't know whoever they hire, you got your work cut out for you. Oh my God. But all right, real quick, because we got 5 minutes till kickoff here. So my key to victory is simple. Find some consistency in all three phases. I'm not gonna sit here and bore you with three, long keys to victory. I was like, you know what? Just find some consistency in all three phases. Whatever works, work. Whatever works, do it. And do it to the best of your ability. Try not to fall to 3 and 6 today. Because if you fall to 3 and 6, I don't know if this team can. I don't know how many more games this team will win if they lose today. Remember, I was thinking about how Southern let the coach go mid-season. I wasn't suggesting we do that. I just wanted, again, my thought is, truthfully, I think what you can do is, again, if he wins the Classic, you keep him. But after the Valley game, win or lose, cut the cord. Cut the cord. If he wins the Classic, keep him another week. If he loses the Classic, I think you can move on before he goes into that Monday interview. So like Sunday, you cut ties. But I do feel like if he wins the Classic, regardless of what happens against Valley and Itabena, you fire him that Monday. Yeah, and I understand that is a lot of people's, because you got to keep it classy. So I do feel like there's a classy way to do it, and I think he knows it's coming. Because remember, there's no buyout in his contract. All right, let me go ahead and give y'all my key to victory before we get up out of here. We will be back after the game is over. There will be post-game reaction, win or lose. So we will talk about this, hopefully in victory and not in defeat. But my final score for today is FAMU 35, Arkansas Pine-Bluff 31. I do think that they shake back. I didn't expect them to win last week. I expect them to win the next two. The third one is a toss-up, but depending on how we look in these 2 weeks, it will depend how I feel about going into that Florida Classic, whether that's a win or a loss. So that's what I'm going with for today. If y'all have score predictions, y'all go ahead and drop them in the comment section as well. We got about 2 minutes here before kickoff, so y'all might want to get them in quick. But in the meantime as well, too, didn't want to do that. In the meantime as well, too, again, if you haven't already, make sure you like, share, and subscribe to this channel. I do appreciate all of you guys that tuned in and joined. Appreciate all you guys in the comment section as well. Oh, there we go. Okay. Ooh, yeah. I feel like we're going to have to sweat this one out today. That's a good one. That's actually a pretty good one. I could see that happening. Maybe like a little walk-off field goal. So, like we're down 19. We're down 19-20 or 19-21. If we kick a field goal, walk it off. That would be nice. That's a good shot in the arm of confidence. So let's start. Oh, yeah. One team wins, one team. Yeah. No, that's fair. All right, folks. Again, we appreciate y'all joining us and everything. Hopefully y'all enjoy the game and everything. If you are in Arkansas or made the trip, be safe up there and everything. Also, too, make sure y'all tune into 96.1 Jams as well, too, listening to it on the radio today as well. So make sure y'all listen to Albert Chester. And, oh my gosh, what's the old boy's name from O&G Strikes On? Oh, Brian. Make sure y'all listen to Brian and Albert Chester and everything today on 96.1 Jams. So definitely, check that out. It'll be a good time. Geez, I drew a blank. I had a blonde moment. My bad. But yeah. We'll be back after the game, folks. Until then, y'all take care, stay safe, stay blessed, enjoy the game.